Well, welcome back to the Investor Shed podcast. I'm Nick Beveridge here with Jeremy. Don't hang out with me anymore. I have a daughter. Kitchen.
Wow.
Wow, you hear this guy?
Serious shade right
Yeah.
You hear this guy?
And our guest, Jo, formerly blocked from Tinder, Turner.
Blocked from Tinder Turner.
Blocked because of these guys who
Yeah.
hijacked my phone and started messing
Allegedly,
with people.
you were just a weirdo.
I
didn't
have
do anything.
screenshots. I have proof.
You have proof that your account did weird things, not that we did that.
I am now happily married, but thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
No problem. I'd like to bring up awkward things right when we start.
Yeah.
That way the energy's off immediately.
Everyone loves it when you bring up awkwardness because then I have to redirect everything. But let's redirect here for a moment because I think this is a very important milestone, Jo, that you're on our podcast. So, if you've been a listener for all of our episodes, first of all, God bless you. I don't know why you've done that, but you've done it and you're here. So you obviously know that this is Jo Turner's 5th time on the podcast.
Where's my jacket like Saturday Night Live?
That's a good question, Nick. Where's Joe's jacket?
I'm working on it.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I got an order into Temu.
The perfect place to get customized jackets. We are not sponsored by
It comes
Temu, by the
real
way.
small.
All right, so rundown. Kind of, obviously, if you know Jo, she's just a mega investor. We talk about the Jo Turner method for houses all the time, but give us a brief rundown of who you are, and what you do, and we'll kind of go into it if that's okay.
Okay. First, I just want to shout out to your T-shirt. If people are watching this on YouTube, he is wearing a shirt of my dead cat, Karen. I used to like to put cats on our shirts to our team trips to Mexico.
She wasn't dead when we took this picture, by the way.
She might have been.
She was
She
dead
did
inside.
die.
Yeah.
We did throw her ashes in the Mexican Ocean.
That's right. I was
I
there
guess
for
that would be the Caribbean, not the Mexican Ocean.
Where's the ashes scattered? The Mexican Ocean.
The Mexican Ocean.
I just
Also
thought she
known as
liked
the
to be.
Pacific.
She liked to be with the fish.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That was the Atlantic.
yeah, you're right. That was when we went to Cabo.
Was it? Okay.
Oh, Cancun.
I thought it was Cabo.
Well, either way.
We'll have
The
to
bodies
fact
of water
check
all
that.
touch. They're all
Hey, if you're listening, please fact check where Karen says.
Well, Cabo's the Pacific.
Right, but I don't
Yeah.
know if we were in Cancun or Cabo, so.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Back to my story. Yes, so if you haven't heard my previous story, I grew up a little farm girl in Wisconsin. I joined the military, met my husband there, and we got to move every couple of years. And as we were doing that, actually when I was pregnant, I really became obsessed with HGTV and watching those shows, and I was just like, oh, I want to do that. It just seemed so smart. I hadn't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad or any of those books. It just seemed logical that you should take a house that needs fixing up, fix it up, and then sell it or keep it. And so we did that probably 4 or 5 times while I was married to my now ex-husband. And then when he got finished with the military, we moved to Hauser, actually, was our first move. And then that's where I
Hauser,
decided...
Idaho, for those
Hauser,
that don't
Idaho,
know.
yes. I decided I hated my life as a speech therapist, and I wanted to get my real estate license just to buy 1 or 2 rentals for my family. So I got my license, and then I decided to go to this meetup called the REI meetup in Coeur d'Alene that was run by yours truly, Nick Beveridge.
To be fair, you were in a moment of weakness.
We caught you when you were down.
I just
Yeah.
he makes everybody stand up. I mean, I was so new. I didn't even know that I might be like poaching your leads when I was like, "Hi, I'm a new agent. I'm here. You know, I'm hungry. I want to door knock. I want to do whatever I can to help people." And Nick beelined it for me after the meetup and was like, "I need someone like you to join my team." Took me into his closet of an office, which was, you know, could have been a little scary, but
Yeah.
It's funny. I was so proud of that office, but now I'm just realizing how much everyone thought it was pretty stupid.
You've got a serial killer vibe about you sometimes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so he made me an offer so good I couldn't pass it up, to work with him as his buyer agent for a year and then become his partner if everything went great. So that's exactly what we did, and we built a team, and throughout the last 8.5 years, I've learned how to flip homes here and have rentals. So currently, you know, I'm averaging flipping 3 to 5 homes a year with my new husband, Joey, the extraordinaire. I love you so much. I told him I would say nice things about
That's from the both of us, by the way. I love Joey too. So like, not to piggyback off your love for Joey, but like I love Joey too.
Oh, I appreciate
Very
that.
handsome man.
He is very handsome.
He's got
Did you change your
pecs
last
like
name
you
when you
wouldn't
got
believe.
married? Or are you still the
I
Turner?
did not. His
Okay.
name is Joe. My name is Joe, and I have about a million things I'd have to change on
Right.
properties and everything.
Then
to
having
have
two Joe Hembrooks
Hembrooks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm happy to be called Mrs. Hembrook, though, but just legally. I also decided my pets are the only things that are ever going to have my last name. When Karen died, they said, "Here's Karen Turner," and I thought,
Aw.
"Oh, I want to keep it." So anyway, so currently my portfolio looks like is I have 12 single family rentals, most of them in Kootenai County. I have my primary house. I have two pieces of land. One's waterfront and one's in Wisconsin. And I have a 12-unit apartment in Illinois and a 6-unit. So however many doors that is. But I'm desperately trying to sell those Illinois properties because I hate them.
Okay. Yeah, you should talk to Brett Shoemaker. He's selling his.
I know. I
Yeah.
did talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, why are you selling those ones?
I just decided after a year that multiple things. So I've sold two. I sold a 6-unit and a duplex already there, and I actually did make money off of those. But just the constant headache of trying to manage managers, and there's like a million things that happened between, heroin addicts in my basement and floods from pipes freezing and all these things that I took for granted how easy it is that my husband and I can easily, fix things or coordinate things efficiently here. It's just awful. And people might say, well, you just haven't found the right team, which may be true.
Sure.
But I just think that I want to stick to the basics and stay where I actually know things. Like I didn't know how involved, Springfield City would be in every little thing. I mean, if you leave your trash can in the front yard for too long, you get a ticket. Like you get cited for everything. And I remember thinking when I visited there, wow, how good the lawns look on every property. It's because you get fined immediately. So just all those things you don't know when you buy in a market out of state. That I'm sick of.
But it's a good point. I want to talk about this for a minute, if you don't mind, Nick. Obviously, a lot of our investors that we have on the podcast, they talk about local deals that they've done, but not a lot of them have a ton of out-of-state experience. And I think, out-of-state investing is kind of romanticized in media. David Green says it's like, oh, it's just easy, put your team together, right? But you're somebody who's gone through it, and it's not as easy as you would have imagined.
Yeah, and I went through a couple teams, and I actually love my property manager now, but even they aren't as efficient as I would be, and maybe I'm a control freak. I'm willing to admit that, I don't like it. It's not for me, and that's okay. I learned that, and I'll probably lose money on these last two I'm trying to sell, and that's okay. That'll be my college tuition for that experience.
Right.
And to be fair, like David Green, like he'll admit lately, if you listen to any of his stuff over the last year or so, like the out-of-state stuff is not going well.
Right.
And he's losing his ass on lots of stuff, and it has... a lot of it has to do with like short-term rental laws and that kind of stuff, but there are these things that just compounded, and the fact that he had somebody basically steal a bunch of his properties legally that were out of state in Florida because of they were able to change the ownership or the what looked like ownership on the Secretary of State website in Florida. There was a glitch that made people just be able to change the manager or whatever. And then they just falsely quitclaimed all these properties to him and had a notary. It was just all like a scam, but they legally stole his properties.
Wow.
And and you don't catch on to this for a while because these properties are out of state, and it's just it's out of state, out of mind, whatever you call it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Out of state, out of mind in the real estate world. But it's so much harder than most people romanticize, as you said. Sure. Managing things that aren't in front of your face.
Right.
And the timing with the interest rates sucked too, right? I bought right as they were rising. So the two I have left are on 5-year notes that are about 5.5%. And if I can't sell them when I go to refinance, those will easily be 8%. So, nobody wants to buy them right now because of that too. So timing sucks too. But timing was amazing for my other single family rentals I have here. So you just gotta what is that, dollar cost average or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you balance your portfolio pretty well, and that's what it sounds like. But the important thing is, and it's important to know that, like, you tried the thing, right?
Yeah.
You tried to do it, and just because it didn't work doesn't make you a failure at all. Like, I think when you learn lessons through your failures, you actually become a stronger investor.
I agree. And it also pivots you a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is not working. What could work? And my husband, Joe, and I decided to start a well testing business, right? Like things we can control locally. And we're doing a lot more flips now. And that seems to be, I think I'm going to have my best year ever because it just lets you refocus on what does work. Let's just double down on things that we can have more control over.
That's great. So let's talk about the things that are working for you, obviously. So you have an amazing husband who is a handyman. Is he a contractor?
Yeah.
What would you call him?
I call him my lover. No, he is my partner in flips, so he does most of the contract type of work. And then he does well testing. He's super flow Joe, if anybody needs a well test in the North Idaho region.
Yeah.
And then, he helps manage my rentals. We just had a turnover in Rathdrum, right where you live, and the tenants decided to, well, I'm sure they didn't decide this, but they gouged the vinyl in like 13 different places, like big chunks were taken out. And it would have easily cost me, this is another thing, if it was out of state, I would have easily paid $3,000 to $5,000 to replace all of that.
Right.
But he was able to meticulously cut out sections. Luckily, there was leftover vinyl there, and glue them down, and they look perfect. And so he's just can do anything, and it comes in super handy when have your own rentals and you're managing them. And I know Nick is always on my case for getting a property manager, but when you have Joey and I actively working in the business, it just doesn't quite make sense for me to do that yet.
And again, I want to stress, like, I'm still involved in my properties, like when it comes to like improvements, maintenance and stuff, like, but when it comes to the actual, like, dealing with tenants and responding to tenant needs and acquiring tenants and doing background checks, all that stuff, like, I like to be completely hands off and just let a professional deal with it that has better judgment than I would and can collect more rent than I would potentially, thus paying for themselves. And then they, if there's anything that's wrong, like, hey, we need potentially new flooring or paint, like, do you want to check it out or you want us to handle it? Like, it's nice to have that option. Like, if I've got the time, I'll take care of it, or I'll send my plumber, or, they at least get me involved if I want to be. But they handle all the stuff I definitely don't want to do. Like, have awkward conversations with tenants.
You're awkward
get
enough
the
as it is.
responses,
That's weird.
It is true, and
Collecting.
also, like, I have a tenant that keeps paying me rent late, and it's awkward because I've met her and met her kids, and I don't want to be a bitch, but
Yeah.
but
It's also running a business.
yes, it's also running a business, and also,
But if you have the third party, it's just interrupting you. Sorry, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier for a manager to just be a hound dog about collecting the rent because they have to do it for somebody. If you're just dealing with a tenant and an owner, they know there's some leeway there sometimes, but they know if they're dealing with a property manager, there's way less leeway because they're working, like, there's somebody who
I don't know,
they've
Joey's
hired
pretty
specifically.
intimidating if he flexes his muscles.
Yeah, his calves are not to be trifled with.
No. If you haven't seen my husband's calves, please come to the next REI meetup. I'll make sure he comes and lifts his pant leg up for you.
Also, if you want an inferiority complex, go for it.
True.
I will also argue on the flip side, if you are debating, should I hire a manager, should I not? I just use Zillow, and there's an application that does a credit check and a background check through there, and they pay like $20-25 to do that. And then I can be wrong. I fully admit I am wrong sometimes. However, I do feel like I have a really good gut instinct, and so I like to be the one that vets these people because I'm a control freak.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And if we're talking about, like, control freak and net worth, like, obviously I don't care what you do in your business. This is your business, and that's, you run it how you want to run it. But an outsider's perspective, like, if you want to not have to worry about these things, is it something, how much time do you put into your property management and collecting rents? And
Well, the other thing is that I have, I would say, mostly Class A rentals.
Sure,
The three of them are in Coeur d'Alene Place. A couple of them are in your neighborhood. I mean, so they're very nice homes where you're attracting people that want to take care of it as if they're your own. So I think that's a big, not to say Nick has shitholes, but...
what? You're not straying from the truth here.
No, he has some very nice ones too. But I just think that helps a lot. I'm sure I'm a little bit, rose-colored glasses because my rentals are really nice.
Sure.
But at some point, the game plan is in, 10 years when all the kids are out of the house is to travel a lot more. And at that point, it will make sense to hire a property manager. So
All my rentals have granite. Just so you guys know, stainless steel appliances, granite or quartz countertops, except for the RV park and one little house in Osborne. Maybe it has granite. I'm not sure. I haven't been in there
were
in a long
you
time.
offended by my comment?
I just don't want people out there to really think that I have shithole rentals because it's just not true.
You used to have a lot more.
Yeah, I used to have a lot more.
Okay.
I kept the good
You've
ones.
got your
I kept the
Frankenstein
good ones.
property that I wouldn't call like a gym. It's a gym of a cash flow, but it's not like...
Have you walked through it though?
I have not. I walked through the basement.
My homestead house?
Yeah, homestead.
All brand new cabinets, countertops, flooring, everything.
Okay.
Well, new 8 years ago, but
Just the outside of the building looks like it needs...
it needs siding, and I'm working on it. But
Okay.
we painted vinyl siding, and I didn't know back then that
Yeah.
you shouldn't paint vinyl siding because then it will curl up and start falling off.
Oh, I thought they made a product that you can paint vinyl. No?
Maybe I don't know.
Well, Nick didn't use it either way, so...
You just use regular paint?
Yeah, I mean regular, but I didn't know that there was a type of paint.
Yeah.
for
I mean,
vinyl.
there's specific paint
Is it
for
just ship
concrete,
paint?
I know for sure. And there's some,
A quick Google would probably help you.
yeah,
Okay.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. Chat GPT also.
We need some comments out there. Somebody get on my side.
I don't even think we're live, are we?
No.
Okay. We'll get some comments later then. So obviously you're trying to focus the portfolio to a local area, is that correct?
Yeah, when I think about the 10-year goal and vision, or even the next year, I think right now in this market, this year is going to be probably focusing on trying to flip homes. I just think with the interest rates, as everybody knows, it doesn't make a lot of sense for cash flow here. But if there was a great opportunity that I really felt in the next 10 years, it was worth keeping. And for tax purposes, I probably should try to keep one a year.
Right.
I have a tax meeting next week, and I'll do whatever Tommy tells me to do. But I think we're going to settle into a nice around 15. I don't think we'll ever go higher than 20. I think the last time I was on the podcast, I was in a race to 100 with Nick. And now I'm on a race to go right back down because I realize that, single family rentals, even if I never bought another one, I'm so happy what I worked hard and did for the last 8 years that now just making sure our income is really as best as it can be. And I love flipping homes. I love finding the deal. I love walking through just hoarder houses and bad smelling stuff that has good bones. It gets me so excited. I don't know. It's just, I love it. I love it. So.
Yeah. No, last year definitely was a race for both of you guys to go up. And then I think a lot of investors are just like, there's a lot going on, right? This is a lot scaling to this level. And getting down to how many units do you think you want to get to in that 10 years? Do you have a number?
Yeah, 15 to 20.
Okay,
if it makes sense, if the house is too good to pass up as a rental, or for tax purposes, I need to buy something to do a cost seg study to offset all my flipping income, then I will keep it. But
what if Tommy told you to get a property manager and use that as a tax
I would
write-off?
not listen.
You said you do whatever he said.
Well, yeah, that's true. But if anything, I would have Joe start a property management company or something if that was really going to be a tax write-off.
Is that where you want him spending his time, though?
Well, on paper, he could be the property manager. He still does that. He just helped, repair the vinyl, and he does what I tell him. So.
He's a good little dominatrix.
Yeah. So, yeah, the vision is just, I pinch myself sometimes. I'm like, man, this is exactly where I want to be. I know Nick and I, with our real estate agent team, have grown it really big, shrunk it really small, decided maybe we should blow it up or keep going or start an offshoot thing. And but I feel like we're settled into a really nice spot right now where we just have, a couple of agents. We're smaller and we're focused on investing and helping people, but it's just a nice combination where it doesn't feel overwhelming. Like, honestly, I loved being an agent for about 3 to 4 years. And it was hard when we built a team and I had to start giving leads to Tyler, Caitlin, all the people on our team. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to do such a good job for these people.
Yeah, Control Freak Joe.
Yeah, Control Freak Joe. And then I did it, though. Over time, I did it. I just focused more on flipping or other things. And now I never want to go back. I mean, I will if it, for certain clients and stuff, but I just love having a couple of agents that they love to do that, and they're going to help these people a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about our team right now?
Yeah, totally agree. I think it's on a good path right now. It's small, it's mighty. I feel like you get caught up on the numbers versus quality sometimes. Like a year ago, we were so hung up on like more units. And then I think we realized like more units does not mean more cash flow.
Right.
And I think there's an 80-20, principle that comes into play where you're just like, I'm realizing that 20% of my rentals bring 80% of my income. And maybe I should just focus on those, sell the rest, and try to find more of those, but not worry so much about the unit number and just work. Like, I'm more concerned about what do I want my cash flow to look like by the end of the year and not how many units. And I think when you're first getting going, it's nice to just kind of have a units goal because you don't know what your cash flow is going to be. You don't have as much control over that until you get really good at this. But that's just my thoughts. And I think we both kind of went down that path of just like, who cares? Like who cares? We don't have to show off anymore. And I feel like if, trying to race you to 100 units was purely showing off.
Yeah.
Right.
And just kind of realizing that that's just not important. And it's just going to bring more stress.
More stress. Totally agree.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when you think about what do you really want to do? I want to love my family and I love traveling and, and if racing to 100 is going to take me away from those things, then it's totally not worth it.
Right.
So,
yeah. It's cool to see the growth both of you have done over the last couple of years. I know, like, going through there was a time when Nick went through, like, crazy scenarios. This was, like, 2022, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your life was like, but I'm sure it was kind of up on the rocks, too. You had a lot of different relationship things happening. You had a lot of just...
getting kicked off Tinder.
Getting kicked off Tinder, because you did that.
You did. You got kicked off for just harassing guys.
For me? What's harassing guys?
Okay.
Hey, Jeremy told men that thought they were talking to me that I was in the bathroom and I needed to ask my dad before I could date them.
And then we constantly kept sending that gif of the rhino pooping. Sorry, I'm in the bathroom. And then just send them right
There's a
to like
reason I was
20, like all your contacts in Tinder.
There was a time when we were all over at Nick's house. I may or may not have been influenced by some box wine.
Yeah, you were drinking straight out of the box.
I think that was the last time I actually drank.
I think that was your last time drinking.
Yeah. Anyway, Joe thought it'd be funny if Nick and I, vetted her Tinder contacts.
And we're like, yeah, we'll help you out.
Of course,
we will help you out.
And that we did. We helped her out. I remember there was one guy I was chatting with. Because, I was chatting with this person. I was imitating Joe, which is apparently a bad thing to do.
It's called catfishing, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Now you know. Anyway, we said, I can't remember what we were saying, but there was one point where I asked him to come over, and then I'm like, sorry, that's for the wrong person. LOL. My dad said no.
Then it's just a message, you have been deleted.
We got deleted by quite a few people that night. First of all, I apologize. I mean, it ended up working really well.
Yeah, because then I logged in through Nick's phone and I met my now husband, Joey, on Tinder. So I still persevered.
Yeah.
Got back on there.
But
Because I was on Tinder speaking to Joey first.
We set this up in advance. So if you want to get banned off Tinder, just send boys some pooping rhino gifs.
A lot of guys.
A lot of guys. Anyone that matched, I'm like, oh, you're getting a poop gif.
Oh, man. I felt bad, too, because I think I kind of knew a couple guys. I was like, I know him. Don't do that.
Don't care.
Yeah. And that's how real estate works.
And that's real estate in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen.
But honestly, my favorite part about real estate, besides finding the cat pee house, is doing the funny stuff that we do when we are advertising for one of the houses that are fixed up or whatever. Like, those are some of my happiest moments when we're just laughing and
Yeah.
riffing on each other. So,
So we got to flip more houses.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, from the guy who does your guys' content videos, you get a lot of people who really enjoy the outcome of those.
I think, and if I may be so bold, it's because I think Nick and I are authentically ourselves. We are dumb and also smart sometimes and funny and just we are not caring what people think comes across in a genuine way that I think resonates with people. So.
I absolutely agree. And for any real estate agents out there that are just, scared of getting in front of camera, watch Nick and Jo's videos. Because these two clearly don't give a shit.
Yeah, and it works.
It works.
But we're also informative.
Right.
We're just
A little
trying,
bit.
we're just funny too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entertain then educate. Is that correct? Yeah.
I think that's a good way to describe it.
That's your guys' videos in a nutshell. Are you going to do another rap video?
Now that we got RD, of course we are.
Oh, he would be good.
Would he? What does that mean?
I
Wow.
just mean he's got a lot of energy. What were you guys thinking?
I don't know. I'm clarifying. Like, that just sounded like it had a little hint of something behind
I
it.
think it would be great because there's going to be less people. It would just be the four of us, maybe Monica.
Get Monica in there with her police.
But I thought you and Saber did rap pretty well. I have no idea how RD would rap, but I know he listens to Run the Jewels. And if you listen to Run the Jewels on a regular basis like I do, you just have rhythm.
Jeremy, who was the worst rapper?
Nick.
I'm going to use AI this time. I'm going to just mouth it, and I'm going to have AI.
You're gonna
my
mouth
AI
it.
voice.
Even
do
when
it.
I was filming that video, I'm like, you're the one that rapped this. Just do what's in the song. Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty bad.
You said this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so my bad. I'm not very good at. You know what? In my head, I have rhythm.
Okay, that's important.
You
Yeah.
do when you're dancing, like at my wedding.
I'm a good dancer. Sure. Sure.
So Nick reminds me a lot of Steve Martin in The Jerk. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just like the provocative moves you do with Hillary, where you're eating her placenta, I think, at one point.
Did I pull it out?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you got to make up moves when you're on the go.
Kind of like the fishing move, same category.
So you made that up at Joe's wedding, pulling Hillary's placenta out.
Maybe. I don't know. Did I? I guess.
I'll
guess
show
I
you the
did that one.
video.
Okay.
Later.
You put a video on Facebook that was very revealing.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook. If you
Yeah.
become my Facebook friend,
Okay.
go back through
was
till it was March 28th of this year or last year now,
Last year, yep,
2024. I got married, and I don't. So the video will be around that time.
Okay.
You can watch Nick.
Ripping out chest hair and making it rain.
I don't think I watched that one. Maybe
with
I
the
did.
chest hair.
But
Yeah,
that's Nick's an
Pretend.
entertaining person
you'd
for
remember it.
sure. I would remember it,
So
but I didn't.
Yeah.
okay.
So this year you're planning on flipping more homes and probably not buying rental unless Tommy tells you. Which
Yeah.
Tommy, to clarify, is your CPA.
Yes, Tom Robinson, CPA. Shout out.
And he'll be speaking at our REI
That's right.
in the past because this will come out after he
Tom
shows
wanted to
up.
Oh,
start
really?
a podcast. He should call it Tommy Tells You.
Tommy tells you.
ya.
That's a good name for a
Tommy
podcast.
tells you
I
what
like
to
it.
do.
Yeah, Tommy Tells You with Tom Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So this year's goals, I just want us to have a great year mentoring our agents, taking on clients as they come. I'm going to be, the thing that worked for me a little bit the beginning of last year was because it's a slower time of year, right? I would handwrite letters. I would use, I think it's called REI Smart. I pay like $60 a month for it, or Property Space or Kootenai County. You don't have to buy a program, but I would just try to target homes that are assessed. Let's just take Kellogg, for example. So homes assessed under 250, and I would just write a letter saying, "Hi, I am very interested in your home and would like to make you a cash offer. Please give me a call at this." That's it. That's simple. And we ended up picking up a couple of listings, Nick's favorite client from that. And also I bought a home in Wallace, and that one is a very interesting tale, if I may share.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. So this number pops up on my phone, area code 608. And for those of you not familiar, that is Wisconsin. So I got excited. I was like, why is the 608 number calling? And it was from this sweet old lady in Wallace. She was from Wisconsin, so we built rapport right away.
And for those that don't know, Wallace is the town that Dante's Peak was filmed from.
Oh.
Was it?
Yes.
It was. Yes, you're right.
Dante's Peak
And
was
it's
filmed
also
there.
the center of the universe.
It is, yeah, and it's before you get to Montana. It's still in Idaho, in the Silver Valley.
Yes. So it's
Near
about 50 minutes from Coeur d'Alene.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so she called. We had a very nice conversation. She was lovely. She wasn't interested in selling, but she was telling me how there was a rundown house up the street. You know, that didn't work out. But she also told me that she was terminally ill. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, if you ever need any help, just don't hesitate. Then,
If it was me, I'd be like, oh, shoot, that means you're going to die. Because I just looked it up on Google what terminally ill means. That's what I would say to
that's
her.
what Nick
That's why Nick doesn't door knock or do these phone calls.
So then a couple months later, my bad, I didn't follow up, but she called back again and she said, you know, I was thinking about it more and I know I'm going to die. She has like severe scleroderma, which is the hardening of your skin, but also can be your internal arteries.
Wow. Okay.
Some people can live a long time with it and other people it's rapid. So I think she looks, if you meet her, she looks very frail. Her fingers are purple. She clearly has an issue. But I met with her and she owed her sister $10,000 and she owed some Medicaid stuff, but she didn't want to just sell it completely on seller financing because she didn't want to be kicked off her Medicaid disability.
Sure.
So like there's a weird issue where she didn't want a big chunk of money. She just wanted enough money to pay off these debts because she didn't like the tension going on with her sister. And she knew that her sister would probably get the money once she died, but with this disease, you just don't know when. Long story short, we worked it out. So she basically seller financed me the home. And she named the price $60,000. At the time, it was, and she knew it was assessed at $100,000. And she also knew very clearly she could make more if she listed it.
Right.
So it's just kind of like that perfect
She didn't want that
storm.
big chunk of money.
She didn't want that big chunk of money.
What do you think this house is worth?
I mean, it's probably worth at least 140. I would think it's just a small 1-bedroom, 1-bath, but it's in a good location in Wallace.
And if you fix it up a little bit, what do you think it'd be worth?
It's fixed up. Here's the thing: it is immaculate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the foundation, everything is beautiful. So it's fixed up. She knew she was giving a deal, but she wanted to live in the house until she dies rent free. That could be 10 years. That could be, you know, so I'm also taking the risk of paying the taxes for the next 10, 20 years. I mean, she's 70. And so
Is the house paid off then?
she owned it free and clear. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You said lived rent free, so I wasn't sure if you had to pay the mortgage.
Nope, there's no mortgage to pay. And also, she didn't want payments because she didn't want that income. So we set it up where I gave her 30 grand at closing so she could pay off her debts. And I don't understand all of Medicaid disability, but supposedly if you come into a big chunk of money and you spend it quickly on needs or things, then you don't get kicked off of it or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Almost like a pass-through type of thing.
Yeah,
Like, all right,
there's
I'll
just
go into
some
debts,
kind of
whatever.
time limits with that, and I'm 0% familiar with it. We also spoke with several lawyers. I had her speak to a lawyer. I did not want to take advantage of her in any way or mess things up for her. And so now, so I paid her 30 at closing, and there's 30 in an escrow account. And if she needs money, she just has to request it, and within 30 days, which usually I do it within 5 days, she can have that money. So she's only done it once so far. She needed $4,000.
So you had to fund that full 60,000 still?
No. So I only had to, so it's just, so Panhandle Escrow and Sandpoint just has the account to keep track of when she does request money. I give it to Panhandle Escrow and then they release a check to her and then they keep my balance.
So you always need to have 30 grand available.
Yeah, in my account.
Right.
Yeah, in case she
So how
died.
do you manage that? Do you just always have that available on the side just in case?
Yep.
Or do you have credit lines in case?
Nope. So I, because I have all these rentals, I don't feel comfortable. I can't sleep at night unless I have at least 100 grand just in cash reserves. I also have like 80 grand in a Vanguard account. And I know people might think, oh, you're not putting that money to use. Like Nick, he would not be able to stand that. But
I disagree with you. I think it's a solid
I
plan.
always have to have at least 100 grand in the bank. So if she did pass away unexpectedly, I would.
I don't think that's stupid at all.
Okay.
It's
thanks.
just, I just know how my brain works with my personal finances, and this is just the way I like to handle mine, but I don't recommend it.
I don't recommend
I've
you do anything.
I've lived most of my life just being very risky, and I'm comfortable with that, and I feel way more secure these days than I did 10, 20 years ago. Because I know I have so many resources that I can pull from if there's an emergency.
Yeah. And that's Nick. For me, I need, I am
Yeah.
like I have to have a good chunk, and I'm trying, and I don't even feel like I have enough right now because until my Illinois apartments sell, I mean, I'm probably losing $5,000 a month at a minimum there. And this next month, I think I have to put in 10 grand, and it's just constant bleeding in Illinois. And hopefully I'll be able to recoup most of that when they sell, but still, I just have to have a big reserve right now.
Do you have any tenants in your Illinois properties?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're still losing $5,000 a month?
Yes, that's how, and the numbers
That's a
make,
lot to lose.
so if I'll tell you, if I said I bought a 12-unit apartment for $515,000, 12 units that should rent for $900 to $1,000. In your head, you're like, holy crap, that's a 2% deal.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
could you go wrong? 8 of the units were already fixed up, or no, 4 of the units were fixed up. Right now, 8 of the units are fixed up. And it's still just a fucking money pit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought I was doing it all right. And it just, I can't even tell you the number of things in the fleecing of America, as Tom Brokaw, you guys are too young for that. But anyway, it just feels like it's just one thing after another of bleeding there.
Did you say the fleecing of America?
The fleecing of America.
Like sweaters?
No, it was a portion of Tom Brokaw's nightly broadcast where he would talk about how the government is not spending money efficiently, and I feel
I think they are.
If anyone has our best interest in mind, it's the government.
And I think Elon Musk and Vivek are going to screw everything up.
I don't
think
really
you think
that.
that.
Yep.
Oh, okay, sorry. Anyway, continue. I think
I don't know what I was saying there. Just I like a lot of cash in my bank account. That's what
I think that's a really solid thing to want, honestly. Like I have not been focused on buying real estate the last year. I've been focused on getting my assets in my bank account into a spot where I can, have a little bit of security before I go out and make bigger, better things happen.
Yeah, I will shout out to Mike DeHaan, who has a Collecting Keys podcast, but he likes to always talk about making massive income over passive income, because we all get into real estate to get passive income, right? But for a lot of us, especially right now with these interest rates, focusing on what you can do with your business or flipping or generate more income might be a better strategy.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Okay, we agree to disagree.
I just don't agree because I've had passive income from like my fourplex for the last like 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And it is truly amazing.
Oh, I don't disagree
way
with that
better
at all.
than, and I've had massive income before. You've seen how many like huge crazy checks I get, and they go away immediately. I can spend money like crazy, but the passive income is 100% life changing, and I think to discount that is just really fucking stupid.
I'm not discounting it. I'm just
No,
saying...
no. So other people do.
Okay.
Other influencers in real estate, they tend, focus on massive income versus passive, but like massive is not regular. I just think it's bad advice. That's it.
I think a portfolio needs to be balanced between the two, of course. You get your flips, you get some income, maybe use that income to buy something that provides you passive income. And again, that's how building these
constantly
businesses works.
reevaluating what you're at and what your portfolio is doing, for sure. And I was trying to be more diverse and balanced by going out of state, and then that did not work for me. So
like if we were talking about like dumps, like I'd rather have consistent poops than one massive shit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So you agree?
No, I agree in the pooping. But I do think like when you're rebalancing your portfolio and stuff like this, it's very important to look at like, okay, do I need little bits of money every month to fund my life, or do I need a big chunk of money to fund another investment or to fund the things that really need to be taken care of right now?
Yeah, and I'm very thankful. I think I have a good balance from my rentals and from flipping of both those things, and I know that when I'm older, I'm definitely going to be, want that passive income. But right now, while we're healthy and spry 40-year-olds, I think, just work hard and have fun and travel and another big book that I highly recommend to everybody is called Die with Zero. Okay. Not that my goal is to actually die with zero, but I think it lets you reevaluate your life in different time buckets and when it's important to do things. Like, I am going to go to New Zealand for 3 weeks, the end of this year, because I don't want to wait until I'm 65 and can barely hike one of the trails or something. And say you really got to look at your life and prioritize, because you won't need as much money as you think you are when you're older. You're gonna be old curmudgeon. You're not gonna want to leave and do a lot, I feel like. So
I disagree slightly with you. Not totally, but I do think, like a lot of people, I don't know what my income's going to look like when I need to retire. So would I like to save money for it? Absolutely. Do I need to be in a home? Do I require special services?
I would
Does
count
my
on
wife
that.
require special services? Like, what's that?
I would count on that.
I would count on that. I'm going to be an old frail man who needs to have a lot of tubes in me. But it like obviously like my plan in my portfolio right now is like January 1st every year I fund my IRA. 7,000, right? So I do that, and I can start making that money work right away for the year. That's cool, and it's not something that I have to put like a big commitment in. It's $7,000. I can do that pretty easily, and then everything else for the year goes into my businesses, my life, and growing those things. So just making sure I'm mindful of what happens in retirement for me, and it's important to do. But that's what I'm doing.
I like it. Another goal, I want to put this into the universe, is I have had an Airbnb on Bottle Bay Road. I did try to sell it briefly last summer, but I have a tenant in there right now who's pretty cluttery. So I'm waiting till the spring to list it again. I would love to 1031 that into a house closer to home. On Hayden Lake is where I'm thinking makes the most sense. And I still wouldn't be able to live in that, at least for a couple of years because of the 1031, but I wouldn't want to anyway because we have little Bob and Lucy going to schools right here.
Right.
But that would be a dream, to find a property that maybe isn't ideal now, but that we can build on, rehab it a little bit and make it our future, like, retirement home place.
Yeah.
So if anybody has a house on Hayden Lake that they're thinking of selling.
Well, I'm sure there are lots on Hayden Lake that are selling right now or not selling.
There's not a lot. Right now it's nothing, but I think people wait till the spring and summer. But
Yeah, like 500 listings came off the market in the last month
Really?
or so.
yeah.
Well, that's because everybody designed their listings to expire on December 31st. It's not like everything expired.
I did
a
not-
lot of those were relisted, I think.
I didn't know that, Jeremy. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm glad to help you with real estate.
The Passive Aggressive Podcast.
That's what we should call it.
Passive aggressive.
Instead of passive income, passive aggressive podcast.
We should invent
That was
passive aggressive income.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you watched I can't remember what the show's called. It's on HBO about pirates.
No?
Black Sails?
Yeah. No, it's the funny one. Anyway, they call it massive aggression instead of passive
Oh,
aggression.
I like that too.
Don't be passive about it. Get fucking angry. Be massive aggressive.
I like it.
Yeah. So why be passive when you can be massive?
Why? Why?
Speaking of massive,
Hey.
I gained 16 pounds since my wedding in March, and now I've lost 10. And I want to tell
unfortunate.
your audience how you do it. Not real estate related now,
Okay.
but I just did a 3-day water fast. And I know your initial reaction is going to be like, ugh, gross. I would never do that. That sounds like anorexia. No. If you Google Dr. Mindy Pelz, P-E-L-Z, and just dive into her material a little bit, there's so many health benefits to just resetting your body, letting it eat all your zombie cells, and it's anti-aging. There's so many benefits. And I'm just, now I always get obsessed with an idea. And then obviously I'm not water fasting anymore, but even eating a very healthy, high fat diet and, low carb, even low protein, and cycling in your protein, then having a day where you eat a lot of protein and then going back. My weight seems to be melting off, and I'm a 45-year-old perimenopausal woman. So,
Me too.
so it's harder for me.
So is this morning your first time eating since Friday?
No, I did last night. So I went from Thursday night at
Okay.
the meetup. I had a little dinner before the meetup, and then I came home and ate some peanut butter. And then I didn't eat anything until last night. I had a arugula herb salad with olives and olive oil and avocado. It's just tons of healthy fat. And I'll show you, I'm wearing a continuous glucose monitor too. My blood glucose is just flat at 68. Doesn't even move at all. And
Is that what you want?
Yeah, I think. I mean, they say a healthy range is between 70 and 90 so I was just slightly below
Okay.
that. I mean, healthy range is like 70 to 130. So if you eat an apple, it's going to go up. But
Right.
Joey had movie popcorn, went off the screen over 200.
Wow.
Is he fasting with you?
No.
Okay.
He did a 24-hour fast. So and I always thought, I wanted to do a 24-hour fast. That's eating but it's really just dinner to dinner. So that doesn't seem so hard. But if you do from dinner, don't eat a whole day to breakfast.
I can't even go from dinner to breakfast the next day.
How many times do you get up a night?
14?
So did you drink an extra amount of water throughout the weekend?
Yes. So I drank and different things. I had different herbal teas. You can do coffee, no cream or anything. And you can do, I do this one drink where I make hot water and put a little apple cider vinegar, cinnamon, and a couple drops of stevia. Stevia does not affect my blood sugar at all. So I was happy to know that, because some things you just don't know.
Yeah,
but the
true.
drink Zevia does.
Oh,
so I thought that was very interesting too. So
throw all those away.
yeah.
Stevia good, Zevia meh.
For me, the fun thing about a glucose monitor is so individual, right? And so it's only a month. If you go to Lingo, Lingo, there's a bunch of different ones. NutriSense is another one. But the one I'm using is Lingo, and it's just, if you want to do it for just 2 weeks, just to test it out, it's like $40-some, and for a month it's $89. And
For the blood sugar monitor?
yeah, so I'm wearing it right now. You just punch it on the back of your arm.
Yeah, I heard you told me you hammered it on.
No, it's you pop it and you think it's gonna hurt, but you can't even feel it.
What?
Yeah.
How does it stay on there? Is it just
It's
adhesive?
there's like, you can see there's a needle.
Oh shit!
And then there's adhesive around the thing, because Joey's actually didn't work. It worked for like a day and then broke, and so he had to take it off. And he said it was really hard to pull off.
Ouch.
But it didn't bleed or anything.
It's a small little needle, huh?
Yeah.
Or is it?
It's a
good
needle
size?
which has the sensor, I'm guessing, for your blood glucose.
And it just stays in your arm.
Yeah.
Doesn't get infected or anything?
I'll tell
Just
you
having
after I'm done. I've only done it for 2 weeks, but I went in the sauna with it, and it completely malfunctioned, and I was worried.
no.
But then it came back on.
Okay.
And it lets you log events too, because another thing, I sprinted, and it shot my glucose way up. But that's because my liver was releasing glucose, I guess. That's what I read. And so you log that as an exercise event, and then it doesn't count against you if you're trying to like see what actual food does to your glucose.
Okay. Interesting.
Totally not real estate.
It doesn't have to be real estate. Some of this is just life, Joe. It doesn't have to all be real estate. We just want to talk to the person too. I want to dive into that a little bit. Like, I don't think I've ever went 24 hours without eating food.
It's crazy. And I looked at it like a mental challenge. I know Nick just ran 14 miles, which is amazing. I don't feel like mentally I could do that. But a lot of people think they can't do a water fast for 3 days. And it really was a mental challenge. But I really think if you have good strategies in place, one of them is don't like carb load right before it, right? You want to ease into it, which I was already being really good eating healthy when I started it. And then you want to ease out of it. Those are keys. Another thing is having lots of kind of weapons ready, right? So anytime I would get hungry, I would make a hot drink, like a hot tea or a hot decaf coffee. And it would pretty much, and I put MCT oil in my coffee as well. They say that's some kind of chain of the coconut fat that just suppresses hunger. So that helped a lot. And then sometimes I was just hungry and I had to distract myself. But it was just a good mental challenge to see if I could do it. And they say the worst thing to do is do it on the weekend when you're bored and have nothing to do, which is exactly what I did. So it might be even easier for people to do it when they are working. I didn't exercise at all because I didn't want to add that stress and hunger.
Right. I was going to ask about your exercising habits. Like, are you supposed to exercise during
Just
the
light,
fast?
like light walking.
Yeah.
Nothing rigorous.
Not go to the gym and yell.
No. If you
like to
do,
go to
I
the
mean,
gym
if you
and
did
yell.
a shorter fast, like a lot of people, I wouldn't say most people, do the intermittent 16-hour 8 fast. Like, so you don't eat for 16 hours and you only eat from like noon to 8.
Sure. Okay.
And if you're doing that, I think it's fine to exercise. You'll be fine. But if you're doing a longer one, I think you want to keep it real minimal.
And what's the goal of the fast? Is it to get rid of, like you said, the zombie cells? Is it to get you like clarity? Like what is the end game of like an actual
So
fast?
according to Dr. Mindy Pelz, there's different levels. So if you just did like a 16-hour fast, then I think you're just getting into autophagy, which is when your cells are eating all the bad other junk that builds up in your body. So if you can stretch that even longer to 24 hours, you're really getting that autophagy plus some other benefits. And there's different benefits if you look her up for doing 24, 36, 48. I know for 72, it's like a complete immunity reset. So if you have a bad condition like cancer, she highly recommends something like that because you're letting your body heal.
Is there any proven like?
Yeah,
benefit?
she's
Okay.
very scientifically based.
Sure.
Tons of studies.
You hear about this stuff, and I'm not a cancer patient, obviously,
Yeah.
but you hear about, the fast, how it eats the cancer cells and everything. like that. Like, do people go into remission?
She has hundreds of patients that have, you know, and then
Not everyone does, of course.
no,
It's, you know,
I'm sure
results
it's your. I like it because I like the glucose monitor and I like testing this stuff out because everybody's different. You know, people, even I probably sound like a zealot right now, like, oh, everybody's got to do this, but really, no, not everybody has to do this. And
But
certain things work.
you had a good reason. Like about a year ago, you were having really high blood pressure, where it was pretty scary.
It
Just
was.
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, it would jump up to 200.
And it was going on for like what, a month?
Yeah.
So we kind of thought maybe you'd just die and I'd get the team.
It was a hope.
That didn't happen.
always next time.
But
I want you to use that as your clip. We'd hope you die.
no, I didn't say I hope.
No.
That was Jeremy.
Can you believe this guy? Why would I benefit from that?
Yeah, I don't want to have to pay the full payment every month for NERT. So
Okay.
I'm
I'll
glad
stick
you didn't
with
die.
that. Thanks.
That's the only reason.
I also have had
I'm just kidding.
horrible digestive issues from certain times. Remember me? Like we drove to Boise and I had to
just
sit
like,
in this
"Ow!"
car. I'm like, my pants aren't buttoned. Just don't look over here because my belly would just bloat and just was having a lot of digestive issues. And I've never felt better right now. I feel
Good.
amazing. So it's worth a try if anybody's interested to look into it.
Okay. So to recap again, 3 days of just water and then high fat foods before and after.
Yeah, healthy though. This is like not just loading up on bacon and sausages. This
not the
is
bacon.
This is more plant-based healthy fats like
What about
olives,
sausage? Sausage oil?
avocado, not sausage oil, avocado oil, olive oil, like that. And then, as you know, she also really highly recommends a 5-1-1 diet. So that's like 5 days a week. Maybe you're doing the 16-8 intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
1 day a week, you're doing a 24-hour fast. And 1 day a week, you're feasting. Now, feasting doesn't mean Taco Bell 3 times a day. No. Feasting means like you're eating healthy, like lots of protein. And also, if you're trying to build muscle,
oil.
you want to be eating more protein than this. For losing weight, though, she highly recommends doing the more high quality, high fat, limiting your protein and carbs.
Did you say whale oil? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Is that a thing? Whale oil?
Yeah. Fish oil is. Maybe
Well,
there's some.
they used to, prior to drilling for oil, they used to get all the oil from whales.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No. I know how rivers are formed, though.
Okay. Wow. Someone needs to watch Moby Dick.
For all your historical content.
Don't read it. Don't read it.
I didn't even know there was a Moby Dick movie.
Oh, no, it's not called Moby Dick. It's called like Heart of the Sea or something like that. But
I was going to backtrack a little and say, did you know when we were floating down the river one day, Nick said, I just realized how rivers are formed. It was really...
I didn't say I just.
Yes.
I said like I just kind of realized, like I just found out like in the last couple of years or something like that. And this was like, we're talking a decade ago now, because this was 8 years ago when I met you. And I think I had just kind of like realized how, shut up, everyone. Just everyone shut up out there.
Enlighten me. How does a river work? If you know so much.
Okay. So snowfall on mountains.
Checks out so far.
Then sun come, melt snow, rivers, ocean.
Like a caveman. The sun comes on mountains. The snow moves mountain and snow.
Yeah. Alex Hermosi says you got to explain it like a third grader.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that way people understand.
That checks out. I mean, you're pretty close.
Snowfall, mountain, sun come, wet snow, water, into rivers, into ocean.
There you have it.
Science.
You should write a children's book.
You should.
Yeah.
Didn't your mom write a children's book?
Yeah, it's about a giraffe that had AIDS or something.
Still sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Oh my
Or a
God.
short neck.
I wrote a children's book, and this painting up above was one of the pages. It was called Animal Heart, and I painted all these animals.
Where's that book at?
I never made it. I actually submitted it to over 100 publishers, and I was like, I'm just going to keep going because I want to be that story where one finally says yes.
Do you still have that draft, or do you still have that book? Yeah. Have you submitted it to Amazon Publishing?
Oh, I wanted it to be hardcover because
They will do all that. They will do all your...
At the time, this was 10 years ago. This was before I became an agent. They did not have that option. So I'll have to go back and look.
They do all your publishing for bindings and everything like that.
Who does this?
Amazon?
Amazon. Just directly through Amazon.
Of course
Why
they
not?
do. That's great.
I'll have to look into that again.
I'd buy your book.
Just for no, but it'd be great to give as a present, like to kids, to rip the pages and lick them as they read it. I'm guessing. I'm just imagining the way Quinn would read a book right now, and it would be a lot of.
She's 1 year
actually very good at reading. No, like she's very good at
We'll sit there and listen.
Yeah, she's very good at respecting the book.
Okay.
Oh, good.
There were times where she'd rip the pages, and I broke 2 of her fingers, and she stopped that instantly.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
But she will sit with me and read for hours, and she'll read the same book over and over and over again. I'm like, I hate this fucking book. Can we choose any other book? And she's like, no, it's Goodnight Daniel.
Well, I will look into that, and if I can get it done, I will definitely. Quinn will get the first copy.
Do you think you would ever write any more books?
I don't think so. And same with painting. Like I used to paint a lot. I used to show my painting in downtown Coeur d'Alene in galleries and stuff. Well, not famous galleries, but the mid-level,
the shitty
ones. I don't know. Studio 107. It just would let you rotate art in sometimes. And
Shots fired at Studio 107.
No, they're not. They're a very nice wine bar, but it's not like the high-end gallery or something. Right. But anyway, I used to paint a lot. And actually, when I first got started with Nick, I was like, for every client I sell a home, I'm going to make him a painting. And that lasted for maybe 10 clients.
I told you, I'm like, no, you're not.
Called it.
It's going to wear off real quick.
You did. And I just don't have that itch anymore. Like, I just don't want to do it. I think if I bought a new home, then maybe I'd want to paint some stuff for it. But that's about it.
So I know, like, you're building up all this capital, you've got all this capital saved, you're going to continue doing, and you want to do all this travel. What does life look like outside of real estate and travel for you once you kind of wind down your portfolio?
I hope in the next, like I said, I think I like this path that we're on. Nick and I are just getting into the development world. Hopefully, is that our phone's blowing up about? I don't know. I keep getting messages.
No, it was just a thank you for the gift card we sent.
Oh,
Andrew.
okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that for the next 10 years, while Joe's kids are still young and going through school and we can't really just leave, that it looks similar to what I'm doing, but new in different ways, right? Like taking on more development projects or just learning more and growing and keep flipping houses and having fun. Like I can't wait for our team to go to Mexico again. I want our team to do even fancier trips like Thailand. Like I just think we can have a lot of fun, kind of staying in our lane, but also branching off here and there is my hope.
Yeah.
And then in 10 years, I really want to keep doing what I'm doing, but have bigger chunks of traveling. Like I am going to Europe for 3 months. Like I am going to go do this and that. But what that looks like for staying in our business, we'll just cross that bridge when it gets to that.
Do you get the real estate first and then do you go after the goal, or do you get the goal in mind of traveling and then build it with real estate? How do you build that?
Well, my very first kind of dive into even goal setting was I read the book The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I looked through it again, and there's nothing particularly special about that guru book versus any other kind of goal setting or book. It just resonated with me at the right exact time. Right. And one of the things it had you do, which I had never done, was write 100 goals and don't put any limits on them whatsoever. And at the time, I remember I make $200,000 a year having the best time of my life with great friends. And I just almost laughed because at that time I was so depressed. I just moved here. I didn't know anybody, didn't have any friends. My husband at the time was still in Hawaii. I hated being a speech therapist. And I was just like, there's no way. And so like setting goals like that, I didn't know the avenue that was going to get me there. And actually I decided to like just dive into 3 things. I was going to write children's books. I was going to get my real estate license, and I can't remember what the third thing is now. There was another thing. Do my paintings probably.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I was going to see what took off. I'm going to do all these paintings. I'm going to try to get in galleries. I'm going to write a children's book, and I'm going to get in real estate. And the real estate thing just took off. And then I met Nick, and my whole world even opened up more. And then I was in a community where like goal setting was, and talking about your income and all these things that we kind of think everybody does. Nobody else does it. Like a lot of just people with regular jobs never think about their finances.
Taboo to the normal folk.
Yeah. Now,
and we're so blind to that.
We are.
Because I've been like in the personal development world for like gosh, 15 years now.
Yeah.
And like, I just assume everybody does this kind of stuff on a regular basis and talks about finances. And is always listening to podcasts every day. And and it's like, who hasn't heard the Tony Robbins podcast that came out on PBD this morning? You know?
Or listens to Ed Milet and then imitates him. Give me your best Ed Milet.
What you just did, Joe, what you just said there, I just want to say, really hit my soul. Joe Turner, everybody. God bless you. Max out your life.
What you just said was life-changing.
I
don't tell this to everybody.
I don't tell this to everybody. Yeah, you do.
You do. You say that on every fucking episode. But we love Ed Milet, of course. But you were right. Like, I don't think, and it's always weird when you catch yourself in a conversation with people who aren't in our sphere. Like, I'm used to talking about my goals. I'm used to talking about things I'm doing. And then you start doing it, and their reaction is like, oh, good for you. Like, you're kind of gloating. And I'm like, whoops. All right.
There is a
Why aren't you complaining about politics right now?
Exactly.
It's a balance because you can come across as pretty conceited. Like, even, I mean, I'm comfortable now saying, I have 12 rentals and this and that. And people, that could come across as very conceited. And I'm just trying to tell facts and encourage people, to do however they decided.
I hope the things I say encourage people. Exactly, right? Like, I was talking at your guys' meetlp, and there was another photographer there, and I'm like, dude, I made damn near 6 figures on a photography business last year, and I was like $200 short. But like, I'm like, I built a 6-figure business basically, and he's just like, oh, cool. And I was just like, whoops, you're not the person who's engaging in this kind of conversation the way I would think. So let's
maybe he thought you were bragging or something.
Right, exactly. It felt very braggy when I said it, and I was like, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, you were just trying to encourage him that it's possible.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I built a fucking cool thing. You can absolutely do this. There's plenty of market for this thing.
Right. But there's a balance with that
for
sure.
It came off conceited for sure.
Yeah.
So.
But I think the people that know you or understand would never think that, right? They'd be like, hell yeah. Like when you just said that, I didn't know that. And I was like, hell yeah, good job.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a crazy ass year.
But most of the people that come to those events, they do have a hunger. They do have a hunger. Yeah. Sometimes people are just dragged there by their, friends or whatever. Spouses.
No, but it's like I think you guys are the ones who first told me this. Like, you're the 5 people you hang around with, right? And I try to emulate a lot of what you guys do. And thank you both for being good resources.
Well, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
try to be funnier.
Yeah.
And
Than me?
not than you, but because of you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Your good attitude and your hilarious aura really rubs off.
That's what I said. My favorite times are when the 3 of us are shooting a video or something. Like the way
It's very fun.
so fun. It is this. There have been a few, like I don't want to get into a religious conversation, but there have been a few moments in this journey that I can't explain. One of them was I was about to join John L. Scott. Actually, I did technically, but then I couldn't go sign the paperwork because my car that never had a single issue, it was an Odyssey minivan, by the way.
Honda.
Just went nuts. Like all the electrics started flashing and I couldn't even turn it on. And so I couldn't go to that thing. And then the next day when I finally could go somewhere, it was Nick's REI meetup. Gotcha. And if Nick hadn't been persistent with me, then like, who knows where I would be. I don't even know if I'd still be in real estate because the synergy that Nick and I have, it works. And I understand that a lot of business partners, that doesn't work out that way, but I feel very lucky that just cosmically happened.
It is cool how like the things happen in the universe that you just can't explain, right? Like one conversation between you and Nick changed both of your guys' lives immensely. Was that correct, Nick?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I mean, just because Joe came to your event, like you guys' both lives have been swayed in a way higher direction than it may have been without.
Yeah. And I was actually not financially successful until I met Joe.
Right.
I mean, I felt like I was on my way, but like you joined me just with the faith that like you understood the vision and the platform, and you just kind of went with it, which was great. But like, I had still yet to like prove myself financially. I think I had to borrow $8,000 just to buy my house, like for a short, 7-day window or something like that. And I think I might have had 2 rentals, but they were, small, Silver Valley little houses that I bought for $30,000, $45,000.
It was definitely a situation where 1 + 1 = 3, which is what I think you always want to find you never want to feel like you're in a partnership, but you're really carrying all the weight or something. And that happens. And if it's for a certain time, but then it sways the other way, and then also in real estate too, with commissions, it's hard sometimes not to feel that a little bit of greed if certain deals are going different ways or whatever, or feel. So I'm very proud of us, Nick, for navigating that over the last 8 years.
Yeah. I feel like we have a common goal, and we have a common expectation that we've accepted of like, hey, we're just splitting our income.
Yeah.
No matter, and we know it's not always fair.
Right.
And we don't care.
Yeah.
Just because like we put in pretty equal amount of effort.
Yes. And I would say I kind of knew the laws of attraction and abundance before, but Nick really lived them when it came to that. And so I commend you greatly for that, of always trying to come from abundance. So that's huge too.
Yeah. Look at you guys being all nice
I
to each
know.
other and growing.
Oh, thanks. You'll end someday.
We'll be passive aggressive right after this episode.
As soon as we hit stop, it's going to be a bloodbath in here. No, like I said, it's been really cool. Like, I've been a part of your guys' sphere since 2019, and thank you for inviting me into your sphere. And again, I've
Before
grown.
that?
No, that was
2019 was when Ginger Snaps.
Okay, but we knew. I mean, he knew you forever. But I
Nick's known me forever, but like we met before, but I never considered you like part of my tribe until like that, of course.
Yeah.
So thank you guys again for building what you built, and to the moon, baby.
Yeah, keep it going.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Nick?
No. Thanks again for coming on the podcast. You're the most.
Who's the second most?
Probably Justin James.
I'll kill him.
Sam's been on twice.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
You've
Sam.
had a lot of two timers.
Yeah.
No three timers now.
No three timers.
Yeah.
I just want to keep my reign. So if you ever get somebody more often, I better get back on.
Okay. Well, we'll try to get you on before that too, so we can pad your lead a little bit. But no, thank you so much for spending time with us today, Jo. Where can people find out more about you or get in touch with you if they want to?
Come to our meetups every first Thursday at 6:30 at our new location, the Experience Northwest, 435 Hanley Avenue. So it's right kitty corner to McDonald's. Get yourself a Big Mac. Come on over.
Ew.
Especially if you're fasting.
Yes.
No.
It's a Big Mac fast.
Also, just Jo Turner, sorry. My real name is Joanne. I don't know where that came from. Jo Turner on Facebook. Just look me up, and I am an open book. So if you have any questions about rentals, Airbnbs, investing out of state, anything I can help with, I would love to chat.
Awesome. I am going to plug you guys real quick here, too. So I know you guys are keeping a small but mighty team right now, but if you are a rock star real estate agent in the Northwest and you're looking for a tribe, I think Jo and Nick are a fantastic place to start as far as maybe not even being on your team, but wondering how a team works. Right?
I believe that. We've met with lots of people that it wasn't a good fit either for them or for us, but we always try to point them in the direction that, like, hey, joining our team is probably not the best right now, either for us or for you. This is where you should talk to people or something.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not trying to recruit, but in the event that it does work, great. But like I said, you guys are just so resourceful, and you've done this for so long. You understand the game, and it's very important that, like, if anybody's getting into the game, get in touch with people who understand what's happening.
Yeah. I feel like we definitely understand the game of residential real estate investments.
Yeah.
And we're trying to expand that a little bit and starting to get more into commercial and developments and stuff. So that's what we're trying to grow to and learn more about real estate investing in general. But yeah, when it comes to residential, we got the shit, babe. We got it.
And that was also like you're also the experts on real estate agent stuff as well, not just investing. Like if somebody wants to be an agent as well, like you guys know what you're doing. So
I guess so.
Please, again, set up a meeting with Nick and Jo. I guess so. I don't know. Men and women lie, Nick. Numbers don't. You guys are killing it. So.
Aw, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Words talk, numbers scream.
And rivers are made from snow on mountain with sun.
There's creeks too in there. Creeks too. Underground streams is a possibility if there's an aquifer somewhere.
Tell us more.
Let me get the voice thing. No, I'm just kidding. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. I know nobody's listening at this point because we're over an hour. But if you are, stay tuned next week. We've got Andrew Simpson.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.